Hello everybody, today we have the mighty G-Wagon, and the dad who owns this car is a father of four, and he spent somewhere in the region of £750,000 so that he and other parents like me can safely put four children in a car of their choice. I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. My name's Ben and welcome to DadCars. Now I must admit, when I think of a G-Wagon, I do think of those stereotypes. You know, the people who ship them over to London to drive around for a few days, 10 miles an hour, posing, or the latest reality TV star using it as a bit of a status symbol. But the dad who owns this car has owned it since the 90s, back before it was cool. This is a 1992 300 GE Long. And just look at it. Isn't it incredible that these cars haven't changed in all of these years? If you go and buy a brand new one, it pretty much looks the same as this today. You could sit this 1992 G-Wagon next to a brand new one, and to the untrained eye, they would look like the same car. It's incredible. The only other car I can think of is the Jeep Wrangler that's never really changed its design. Can you think of any others? Drop them in the comments below. The Lamborghini Countach only stopped production a couple of years before this rolled out the showroom. Could you imagine if the Lamborghini of today was the exact same design as the Lamborghini Countach? But let's have a look at rear practicality for children in the back of a G-Wagon. As I said, this car's owner is a father of four, just like myself, but his children are all grown up now. But he is the inventor, the founder of Multimac. The incredible all-in-one 4-across seat that I bought and I use in the back of my wife's X5. We bought that long before I was even in communication with Multimac, and we absolutely loved the seat. But I'm so excited to be here today with the inventor's car, the original Multimac G-Wagon. No surprises for passing the DadCars boot test here. And I've even got a seat with some retrofitted seat belts, and there's one on both sides as well. Right, let's go for a drive in a G-Wagon. How exciting is this? Now this thing's got a 3-litre straight 6 petrol engine, which produces around 170 brake horsepower. It doesn't sound a lot, does it? Especially in a car this heavy. As a result, it does 0 to 60 eventually. Well, 0 to 60, I think it's about 13.5 seconds. And it will go on to do over 100 miles an hour apparently, which I think is impressive for something with the aerodynamics of a house brick. I think it is a bit too heavy. It's a big car. It's a big car. And speaking of aerodynamics, they're making an all-EV one of these, the EQG. And what I love is when you have a look at the concept photos, they put aerodynamic wheels on it. I mean, come on, Mercedes. It's going to take a lot more than aerodynamic wheels to make this thing aerodynamic. I mean, look at the windscreen. It's almost vertical. So this is the G-Wagon L, the long one. And there's something which is nice, big and imposing. I think you want that, you know. You want the extra rear space. You want the extra doors. Let's be honest, if you took the 2-door G-Wagon and put it on some normal wheels, it would cut the same silhouette as Postman Pat's van. Let's give it a little bit of a pull, shall we? That's as fast as it goes. Not as fast as the cars we normally have on the DadCars channel, is it, sweetie? The owner of this car, Kevin, he's had it since the 90s. This car was what was used to do the school run for his 4 children. What a cool thing to do the school run in. So yeah, this is the slowest car that's ever been featured on the DadCars channel. It's not about that, is it? I mean, the thing is with classic cars, and yeah, I mean, it's 92, would you call this a classic car? Classic cars aren't about speed, are they? About how they make you feel. And how do I feel right now driving this? Wow, you really are sat up so high. You've still got like what feels like a foot of headspace. And the driving position it's spectacular. It's like nothing I've ever driven before. The view of that angular bonnet, with all the different shapes on it. It's really rather special. It's a surprisingly easy and enjoyable thing to pilot around. I was expecting this to be a bit of a workout, but it's not. I find myself just sitting my elbow here on the door card. I don't feel like I need to go fast. But speaking of fast, some of the crazy G-Wagons that they do now, oh, I couldn't even begin to imagine what it would be like flying around in one of those bi-turbo G-Wagons. If anybody's got a fast G-Wagon or any super fast SUV and they fancy seeing it on the DadCars channel, please do reach out. So foot to the floor, 50 miles an hour, let's see. It takes a little while to get going, but once it's got some momentum, I think this power unit's perfectly fine. But hey, you might be thinking, right, if it's not overly fast, well, miles per gallon might be quite good. Unfortunately, miles per gallon, you're going to be looking at about 16 miles per gallon. Yeah, which probably means it's probably slightly worse than my V12 Aston Martin. Chances are, if you're buying yourself a classic G-Wagon, miles per gallon's not really going to be your main concern, is it? Kevin told me a fun story about this steering wheel. So apparently when he first got it, it had a plastic steering wheel. A G-Wagon came up for sale at a local dealership and he just went to have a look at it. He noticed that it had a leather steering wheel, but it had a missing piece of plastic on the side, and he had a spare bit of that plastic. He managed to persuade them to swap that piece of plastic for the leather steering wheel, and so that's why this car has got a lovely leather steering wheel. So I checked Auto Trader this morning, and there is a G-Wagon up for sale second hand for £750,000. Admittedly, it is like the crazy six-wheeler monster truck, pickup truck looking thing. But the owner of this car, Kevin, he has spent a similar amount of money, around £750,000, on getting it to the point where I can legally and very safely have that 4-across Multimac seat in the back there right now that my daughter is sat in. Any dad who refuses to toe the line and go along with what everyone else is doing and wants to have something a bit different, a bit more exciting with their children, that's obviously what I am doing myself and what I'm in support of. And what Kevin did with the Multimac might just be the most important and most incredible story of that. A father of 4 who just refused to follow the status quo. I'm about to sit down with Kevin and have an informal interview with him, but I want to find out about that £750,000 entrepreneur's journey. A dad who refused to just accept the fact that a car this wide couldn't have 4 child seats across, and he's now created what I think is the most revolutionary child seat ever. So I'll be posting that interview in the following days after this video comes out, so please check out that video as well. But I'd like to say a massive thank you to Kevin for letting me drive this right now. I really appreciate it, and thank you as well for making the Multimac. What an absolute treat though to get into a classic car like this and just seeing it in such wonderful condition. These cloth seats, oh, I love them so much. And on the back, it's kind of like, it's plastic on the back there, so that's perfect hard wearing for kids when they're kicking the seat, which inevitably they always do. And this wood finish as well, it's just so charming. And look at this tiny little piece just on the door card there. I mean, what, it's like about 4 inches of wood trim. It's cars like this that really transport you back to the time in which they were made. It's a really special thing. I feel very honoured to be driving this right now. I talked earlier on about how it's incredible that the exterior design of this car just hasn't changed since the 90s. But it's the same on the inside as well. I mean, this dash arrangement here is basically the same as the modern G-Wagons. It's just the switchgear is changed for, you know, modern Mercedes stuff, and they've got a screen here instead, but the actual basic layout of it and the feel is the same. This handrail here is the same, and that's even going to be on the all-electric one as well, I think. Right, let's give it another pull. See, after driving it for a little bit, you're not expecting it to go fast, and so it feels perfectly acceptable. Now, this car back in 1992 cost over £47,000. The average house in the UK cost about £50,000 in 1992. So these have always been a very expensive car. So, sweetie, did you know that when this exact car was brand new, when it rolled out of the showroom doors, I was the same age as you. I was 4 years old.
Oh, when this was only new?
When this was brand new, I was the same age as you. How cool is that? Is that funny? I'm a huge fan of the Jeep Wrangler, which has got that same, you know, real authentic agricultural, almost military sort of aesthetic to it that just hasn't changed. I mean, we drove a Jeep Wrangler across Canada with our first when she was only 5 months old. So yeah, those memories are treasure. So in summary then, for the G-Wagon, so this is by far the slowest car that's ever been featured on the DadCars channel. I am self-confessed not a huge fan of SUVs as the primary dad car. However, it was this car which Kevin thought, look, there has to be the ability to carry 4 children across. If it wasn't for this car and the dad who owns this car, the Multimac wouldn't exist. And the all-important solution to anybody who has more than 2 children, crazy enough to have 4 like me, or people who unexpectedly are having twins and think that they have to change cars. This is the exact car that had that first Multimac prototype in it. What a bit of DadCar history, and I'm absolutely honoured to be driving this legendary car. For me, after today, whenever I see or think about a G-Wagon, I'm not going to think about those rich posers in London or the latest Kim Kardashian. Instead, I'm going to think about an incredible car with bags of character that inspired a really game-changing thing for dads like me. And I hope you'll think of that as well whenever you think of G-Wagons. So look, I want to say thank you again to Kevin and to Minty as well, his daughter. They've been so welcoming and incredible. And thank you all so much for watching as well. Please subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment below, share this video if there's anybody you think will enjoy it. Share it. And look, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys. Bye-bye.